Vice President of the United States.
Thank you very much, Hank, John Cappelletti, Bishop Sheehan, Capelletti family, John Paterno, or Joe Paterno, excuse me. Distinguished guests, past winners of the Heisman Trophy, friends of the Heisman Trophy organization, the Downtown Athletics Association. It's a great privilege and a very high honor for me to have the opportunity to be here tonight. As I look back over this group of previous young Heisman Trophy winners, and all of them are younger and more vigorous than I think it is wonderfully representative of the outstanding kind of people that we've had in not only football but athletics generally. And I think we should applaud all of them for the contributions they've made to the generations that follow and the examples they've set for those that have followed them. Frankly, I asked the president, I said, well, Mr. President, why did you pick me? And the president said he had carefully examined my background before he picked me. He'd looked at some good running halfbacks and maybe some pretty good flankers and the like. But he thought maybe in his circumstances he needed a good blocking lineman. Then I pursued it a bit further. I said, well, Mr. President, you must have some other reasons for this. He said, well, he wanted a Ford. He hoped he didn't get a Maverick. But you know, I got a good vote in the House, and I got a real good vote in the Senate, and I want to thank Frank Clark, a good Democrat, and Jack Weidler, a good Republican. And I guess the polls have been reasonably beneficial and favorable. But you know, I am concerned about my image. Do you realize since I got selected and confirmed, the price of Fords has gone up $150? But to be serious, it's a great pleasure, and I mean it. I much more enjoy this kind of company with Joe and the Heisman winners and John and all of you who have a deep interest and concern about competitive athletics, much more so than any other group that I have the privilege of associating with. And I found the remarks of Joe Paterno usually, as usual I should say, witty and instructive, Joe. And I'm proud to have the opportunity of meeting John Cappelletti in person. And I met him before we came down here, and everything I heard about him, read about him, or saw concerning him was confirmed by my personal impression. And I congratulate you, John. I'm a great Saturday afternoon or Saturday night watcher of TV on football, and you deserve, John, without a question of a doubt, the most prestigious award in college football. And you will honor all of football by joining those behind me who have done it in the past. But I think we ought to congratulate Joe Paterno for his consistently great teams and for helping to produce Penn State's first Heisman winner. In honoring John Cappelletti, we also honored Joe Paterno, and no coach deserves it more. And we hope and trust that John's just one of many at Penn State. You know, I know that Joe occasionally chafes over those Associated Press and those UPI ratings. But if it's any solace to you, Joe, I sympathize with you. During the past couple of weeks, I've been learning just a little bit about what it means to be number 2. I'd like to make a few serious remarks this evening, if I might, and I won't give that old life is like a football game pitch. But I would like to say that some of the reasons for the popularity of football, in my opinion, are directly related to the qualities that have made us a very great nation. The Heisman Trophy symbolizes individual athletic accomplishments in football. And we shouldn't apologize for it. We should be very proud of it. A player wins it, as John Cappelletti won it, and all of these others, through the intense competition with other players, the length and the breadth of our country. And he wins it because he puts a little extra effort into the accomplishments for himself, but primarily for his team. And I think John Cappelletti said it very well in a recent interview. He told how he had been ready to quit the Penn State team in 1972 because he wasn't picking up enough yardage. But he kept trying through the season of 1972, and he finally gained 124 yards against Illinois. And let me quote what John said. I learned a lesson that if you stick with something longer than you think you can, things will work out for you, end quote. And I think that's right.
Don't leave it with me. Give it to Neil.
A week ago, or 10 days ago, when the Heisman Trophy was announced, since then I haven't had too much time to think about what it has meant. I think listening to the former Heisman Trophy winners tonight and seeing everyone here to share in it and congratulate me on it, I think that's one of the first steps that I've taken in the meaning of this trophy. I'm sure that the people behind me know much more about it than I do, and I'm happy for any advice that they've given tonight and on what to expect from the future with this trophy. I have had time to think about some things that have put me up here tonight, things that have happened in my life, and I'd like to reflect a little bit on them now. I think the first thing that happened to me was God blessed me with a great deal of talent and a lot of people to complement that talent. My family, as everyone's met, mostly, I guess. They're just great people, and I'm very happy to have shared in my lifetime with them. My brothers and sisters, it's been wonderful just being with you the past few years. They've always been behind me, and I can't express that enough. My mother and father. There isn't a greater couple around, I don't think. And I know my mother always cries at these affairs, so I'm going to try not to. She's a very, very strong woman and very dedicated not only to her children and husband, but also to God, and I think this helps her out with putting up with us and going through all that she's gone through. One example, I think one small example of this is a personal thing with me that I think a lot of people may have noticed that my legs are as straight as arrows, and that I have no trouble walking now or running now, but at one time in my life I couldn't walk without tripping. And my mother not only brought me through this, but she brought just about every member of our family through something like this. My father's a very quiet man. He's been a great father to all of us. He asked me the other day when I was home one of the few times how he thought I felt of him as a father. And I wouldn't say much to him then because it's hard to express things like that. But there is no greater person and no person I have more respect for than this man. I think the next event that was most important to me in my life was when I went to high school, and I was fortunate enough to be coached by a man who dedicated himself not only to his players on the field, but very much so off the field. He was a great lover of football, but he'd sacrifice anything for a teammate or a player when he was playing and when he was coaching. He passed away this summer, Jack Gottschalk, but I think in the 43 years that he was here on Earth, he did more for young people and people he was associated with than I think most of us get a chance to do in a lifetime. The next step, I think, was I was going to Penn State. It was a hard decision, making a choice of colleges at the time. I didn't know that much about it. But I think one thing that swayed me was the man sitting to my right, and that's Coach Paterno. When I was being recruited, he came down to my house. I think he was not only on a recruiting trip, but he was looking for a good meal, an Italian meal. When he came in the door, he looked over and on the couch, my brother Joseph was lying there. He was very ill at the time, and more so than usual. And instead of that's not a joke, but Coach Paterno, was more concerned and talk more about what he could do for my brother than what he could do to get me at Penn State. And for this, I'm very thankful, and I'm glad I had the chance to show some appreciation to this man in the last 4 years. I think everybody here knows mostly about his coaching accomplishments at Penn State. His record is a great one, probably the greatest in the country. But he's carried on a great tradition at Penn State, I think, which started with Rip Engel. And he's more concerned with young people after they get out of school and while they're in school, what he can do for them to make better lives for them, not only on the football field, but in life itself. I think Vice President Ford said you can't compare life to a football game, but I think you can compare a football game to life. And this is what he's tried to show us in my 4 years there and in the years he's been there coaching and teaching. And I don't think there's a more dedicated man anywhere concerned with young people and a better teacher of life on and off the field. The next group of people I'm going to talk about, I've been with for 4 years, and I've played with them. They're my teammates this year, the seniors, and the co-captains who you've met down here. I don't think I've been closer to a group of people who I've worked with, sweated with, and have done more with in 4 years than I've done with anybody in my lifetime. I don't think I could have gotten any closer to the group that I've been with. And I think that it takes a lot of hard work to do what we've done this year. And I'm just glad that I did my part for my teammates and that we've had the season we've had and we've had the closeness that we've had. And for them, I'm thankful for that. Also, there's a coach here tonight who I'm very proud of. He's our backfield coach at Penn State. His name is Bob Phillips. And I think he's mainly responsible for a lot of the attitude that goes on at Penn State among the players. He's a very dedicated man to his work, but he goes about it with a healthy and just a bright attitude, and he can relate this to the players to the point where you want to do things for them, and you take the attitude that you're not out there just to get something finished and go in and take a shower, but you're out there to accomplish something. And people like him are the reason that I think that a lot of the players, and I know myself, were out there this year doing the things we did, and I'd like to thank him for that. The next part, I'm very happy to do something like this. I thought about it since the Heisman was announced 10 days ago. And this is a dedicated trophy that a lot of people have earned. I've earned, my parents, the people I've mentioned, and numerous other people that are here tonight and been with me for a long time. The youngest member of my family, Joseph, is very ill. He has leukemia. And if I could dedicate this trophy to him tonight and give him a couple days of happiness, this is worth everything. I think a lot of people think that I go through a lot on Saturdays and during the week, as most athletes do. You get your bumps and bruises, and it's a terrific battle out there in the field. But only for me, it's on Saturdays, and it's only in the fall. For Joseph, it's all year round, and it's a battle that's unending with him, and he puts up with much more than I'll ever put up. And I think that this trophy is more of his than it is mine, because he's been a great inspiration to me. I'd just like to thank everyone here tonight for putting up with me. The Downtown Athletic Club for having this affair, and the way they treated myself and my parents and the guests of Penn State these last 2 days. I don't think I'll ever forget this night. Thank you.